You're considered poor if you make less than $1,500 a month. Dang. If you make between $1,500 and $3,000, you're low income. If you make between $3,000 and $4,500, you're stably paid. Between $4,500 and $6,000, you're what we call middle class. Right now. Between $6,000 and $9,000, you're comfortable. From $9,000 to $12,000, you're upper middle class. From $12,000 to $25,000, we can call you wealthy. From $25,000 to $80,000 a month, you're officially rich. Between $1 million and $2 million a year, you're a millionaire. Between $2 million and $30 million a year, you're a multimillionaire. From $30 million to $1 billion, you're ultra rich. Between $1 and $2 billion, you're a billionaire. Hey, and if you have more than $2 billion, you're a multi-billionaire. And now you tell me in the comments, which one are you?
Imagine being the first country to free yourself from slavery, only to have to pay your colonizers back billions of dollars. If you didn't know, Haiti was the first country where enslaved people rose up, overthrew their colonizers, and actually won. In 1804, Haiti gained independence from France, but then France turned around and said, cool, but you still owe us. France demanded reparations from Haiti, and it was for the loss of their property. And by property, they meant the enslaved Haitians that they no longer own. France basically told Haiti, pay us 150 million francs or we will invade you again. That's the equivalent of billions of dollars today. And guess what? Haiti had no military, they had no allies, and they had no choice. So they agreed. They went into massive debt, and get this, they borrowed from French banks to pay France for their own freedom. That debt absolutely wrecked Haiti's economy. It kept the country poor, unstable, and dependent on others. And get this, the debt wasn't paid off until 1947. That's more than 120 years of paying back your former colonizers. And that's so they don't enslave you again. France has never paid that money back, never even apologized, and it still benefits from the system that debt helped to build. And mind you, this is all happening today, 700 miles off the coast of Florida. So why is Haiti so poor? They were punished for freeing themselves.
What's up, everybody? Listen to this shit. Okay. This is what Social Security does. Okay? Listen to this shit. Okay. You pay, let's say, $25,000 a year in taxes that they take out of your money to put away for your retirement. Okay. So after 52 X amount of years, if you get to retire at 65, but it's like they'll tell your payoff isn't till 70 now. Now they moved it to 70. Okay, it used to be 55. Now they keep moving the fucking goalpost back. Okay, so let's say at fucking 65 you retired and they took $25,000 a year from you. Okay, that's $1.3 million. So that's $1,300,000 that they took from you over a span of 52 years at $25,000 a year. All right. So at 65, they give you, oh boy, $1,600. That's what the fuck you get. All right. Give or take 100 or two. So I'm rounding out to 1,600. Okay. Trust me, because I just heard this conversation going on. And, all right, so 65. Now, at $1,600 a month, that's $19,200. Okay, a year. So let's say you live another 15 years. You croak at 80. All right. So they've given you $288,000 of your money. But what about that other $1 million? Huh? What about that other $1 million? What the fuck happens to that? Because your family doesn't get it. So that's how much money they are stealing from us. Okay? That's how much money per person
We're not paying taxes this year. Trump just approved another $8.6 billion to Israel. Now be aware, $13.4 billion that's gone to Israel failed an audit, meaning it's missing. Nobody knows where it went. It was unreported $13 billion. At the exact same time, he did $12 billion in cuts to our healthcare, and the Pentagon failed their 8th audit in a row. Do you guys understand? The Pentagon has never passed an audit successfully. No taxes 2026. It's not happening. People are getting together and nobody is going to pay their taxes this year. I will no longer be a slave, and I suggest you do the same. They take our money, they launder it, they steal it, and the little bit that does get used, it just gets used to blowing up children. They take, and they continue to take, and they give nothing in return. And this is the only way we can do anything. I'm fully on board with this. I'm not paying them a dime. I refuse. I will no longer be a good little goyim and just do everything they say and give them everything I work for. I'm from nothing, and a lot of you guys are too. Both my parents are disabled and homeless half the time. I have a son that needs me, I have a family that needs me, and I'm quite sure a lot of you guys are in similar positions. These people are already rich, they're already millionaires, they're already billionaires. And when we pay our taxes like good citizens, all they do is steal it from us or go kill innocent people.
One of the most nakedly evil things that hedge fund and asset managers do is they are coming not only for the beginning of everyone's life, but the end of it too. The largest owners of daycares here in New York City is BlackRock. Daycare costs have doubled in the last 5 years. It's like $3,000 to send your toddler to daycare so your parents can work jobs where the wages are not going up at all because private equity owns those companies too, outright shares in them. 3 companies in the United States, BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street, own $22 trillion in assets. They own 90% of the stock exchange. They own majority shares in 90% of them. And they're like octopuses. They're wrapping their tentacles around our lives. Because not only are they coming for daycares, they're also coming for end-of-life care. Another really profitable thing is nursing homes, right? You have a captive population in a nursing home, and if you treat them poorly, they're more profitable. So you decrease the quality of food that you feed old people, and you also cut staff, right? It's so evil. It should be illegal to treat children this way, to treat old people this way. And these people are divorced from their humanity and they're completely unregulated. And the other thing they've bought is the government. So there is no regulation on this. So if Democrats ever want to win again, they have to address this problem. The fact that private equity is making it impossible to live a life with dignity in America. Impossible to live in a city, impossible to bring a kid into the world, and impossible to have a life that ends with good care and compassion. Private equity is destroying this country.
So across U.S. history, ethnic criminal networks functioned as proof of capacity pipelines into legitimate power. Irish gangs fed war politics and police unions through Tammany Hall era patronage. Italian mafia structures were laundered into control of ports, construction, sanitation, and finance. And Jewish syndicates transitioned into garments, unions, and banking, demonstrating coordination, discipline, enforcement, and capital flow that markets and the state ultimately absorbed rather than eradicated. These things all prove that crime was never the point. The capacity was, and once demonstrated, it was normalized through political machines, unionization, regulatory capture, and selective enforcement, while amnesties, plea bargains, and market actions quietly converted informal power into formal authority. Black Americans were uniquely denied this absorption phase. Black informal economies were criminalized as existential threats under Black codes, Jim Crow, and later the war on drugs. Leadership was neutralized through incarceration or assassination. Examples: COINTELPRO, Malcolm X, Fred Hampton, etc., etc. And communities were met with surveillance and disinvestment, like redlining via the FHA, urban renewal, broken GI bills, access, etc., etc., rather than capital, like everybody else. And then the final result, the succession ladder was deliberately cut at the middle rung. You understand?
New York City properties cost more than your soul. You're lucky if you bought one in the 70s. Oh, developers will just take it from you anyway through deed fraud, and then they give the NYPD a cut for helping them evict you illegally.
I'm not going to step in until I explain everything to you. It's a private house. First and second floor. I'm not sure.
Well, if it's fraud, then it won't go through, right? The judges are being paid off as well, and no one can find lawyers to represent them because the judges will threaten the lawyers.
I sent you a cease and desist for you not to come here and harass.
They're targeting Black and brown communities that have been there for a really long time because that is prime real estate, and they just want it. Someone needs to tell the police commissioner what her people are up to in the city. You mean Jessica Tisch, the Zionist real estate developer heiress? It's a whole mob attack. Oh yeah, they drag them out of their homes that they own and then go in and destroy the inside of the home so that they can develop. They're gonna gut rehab it anyway, you know?
Break everything. No more walls. Look what they did. Mother of all evil. Wow. And they walked out of here.
And then they take the owners away in handcuffs.
Put your ass back. Get your fucking nasty ass out. Come here.
You thought the Zionists were going to stop at Palestine, Syria, Lebanon. No, they're in Brooklyn now. They're in Brooklyn doing the same thing now.
There's an epidemic of deed theft that we are seeing within this borough, within this city.
No, he can't go. He wants to steal the stuff. He wants to steal the stuff. He don't need to go in here. Break everything. No more walls. Look what they did. No more walls.
Bed-Stuy saw the largest displacement of Black people more than any other neighborhood within the city, and a huge reason for that is the theft that we are seeing of people's homes.
There comes these people taking over your property that you have no mortgage, claiming on the LLC they can transfer your property without your knowledge. I told the police, I own it, it's deed theft, and they just stand there and ask me, oh, you want to go to the hospital? I said, no, I'm not going to leave my father's blood and go with you. So me standing there and screaming until the Stop Deed Theft group arrived was able to save my property from further destruction. When they finish with mine, if they get away with it, they're going to do every Black person in this Brooklyn.
The same thing that is being done in Gaza, the same thing that was done in Tulsa, is happening right here in 2025. And this is what they do to a Black woman, an elder in our community.
This is not the only home in the neighborhood that has been targeted or that is being vandalized. Throughout the community, we know of many, many properties that are currently in a contested state and where the police are not standing down. They are not marshals, they are not judges, they are not sheriffs, and they do not have the right to unlawfully evict people without a court order. Shay Ohana, Alan Weintraub, they are a crime syndicate. There's already documented evidence of their fraud and their crimes, right? And so this is not something that is undocumented or that they do not know. The problem is that it's not criminalized. But think about the years and years and years of terror that our community is going through and undertaking. The people who have died, right? The people who have died. We have members of our coalition who are now mentally incapacitated. They don't just take one property. They take your everything.
So on one hand, we have Cop City, and they are accused of being criminals for saying Cop City is wrong because it took land from Black people and it took land from the First Nation people in Georgia. But in Brooklyn, it's okay to take people's land. There should just be not only a moratorium on any theft and sale of property that is not approved by the owner, there should be a return because some of these convictions have not returned the housing. Reparations now.
50,000.
What? Are you being scammed? We're gonna see if the bank will let me take out $50,000 of my own money.
You have probably had to maybe go to a different branch to see they have it. The maximum I can give you right now is 10,000.
What about 30?
No. Let me check in the back.
Yeah.
I can give you 20.
It's crazy because other people are taking out money too, so I know they have 50,000 in there. Location number 2.
How can I help you?
I was looking to do a withdrawal.
Today.
50,000.
What? Are you serious in cash?
Yeah.
Why do you, okay, first of all, why do you need that much in cash? Are you being scammed? Why do you need that in cash?
It's a gift for my brother's birthday.
But why can't you give him a cashier's check? He could put it in his bank and it'll be available the next day.
Just that I would rather give it to him in cash.
You're trying to clean us out.
Yeah.
Let me just run it by my manager.
So you're trying to get to 50,000, you took out 20 already, you need another 30, is that what's going on?
Yeah.
So 50 is your ultimate goal?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went to 3 different banks. They won't let you get a hold of your money. They take your money and put it elsewhere and give it to other people, bruh.
Or unethical but legal tax loopholes. The first one, starting a church. Why would anyone want to do that? Because churches don't pay taxes. Are they a business? Absolutely. Should they? Yes. Do they? No. So people start churches or organizations and they donate their entire income. They call it tithes, donations, whatever. And they don't get taxed on that income. But a lot of people get fucked up because they're not following the rules. Let's go over the rules. You must have these things: a congregation, a place of worship, dedicated structure, regular religious services, regular religious education, like Sunday school, for example. And the financial documents, of course, would have to be included in that. The IRS has a 14-point checklist to determine if it is a true church or not. So, if you get away with it, if you don't, tax evasion, fines, penalties, seizing of assets. Number 2, starting a charity. Very similar to number 1, but charities are not necessarily tax-free, but they get huge deductions. So, if you're starting a charity, a true 501c3, ensure you're following these rules. Have a board of directors, not just your family. Do public good. Keep donor funds separate. File Form 990 on an annual basis. And of course, don't use charity funds for personal gain or for your personal need. If the money comes back to you that you're using charity funds for personal funds, you're going to get in trouble. So wealthy people are able to do this because they control the board and the spending. Now, just a little takeaway. What if you have a charity and it's compliant? Your 501c3 is fully compliant and you decide to donate to a foundation or a business or a company that you also may run. Number 3, renting your home to your business. The Augusta rule. You are eligible to rent your home to your business for 14 days tax-free. Now, there are some rules, of course, with everything. So let's go over some of the rules to make sure that this is a write-off for your business. For one, it must be a fair market rate. So the rate that is charging around hotels in your area, you can charge that per night to your business. You have to issue an invoice to your business for the rate of the stay. The rent or payment you receive from renting out your home for 14 days to your business is not taxable. Write it all off. So whether you're doing content in your house, you're holding business meetings, you're holding, whether it's in person or Zoom, make it something about the business. Hope this helps. Hope you enjoyed it. And these are all legal, okay? Unethical, maybe. That's up in the air. That's subjective.
Islam, Shalom, Hola, Aloha, Bonjour, Oseo, Assalamu Alaikum, Konnichiwa, Jumbo. This your brother Zach Bay, Indigenous American Moor, coming to you live in full effect. Like, share, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell down below so you can be notified whenever I'm dropping some new content. Leave a comment, interact with me. I really do appreciate your viewership. Let's jump into another one. And special thanks to like the 5 to 10 subs who are always watching my content all the way through. I really do appreciate that watch time. Let's jump into another one. All right, blood and gold, back at it again. You know, talking about finances, talking about money markets, talking about things that actually move currencies, either world events, new technologies, all those sorts of things. I like to cover on blood and gold, especially when it has to do with the everyday common person, you and me, and finances, because you know, what are finances but, you know, a medium of exchange between, you know, human beings and, I guess you could say, non-human beings now, since we have, like, you know, corporations and different artificial entities that, you know, can operate just like a person can, you know, artificial person versus a natural person, you know. Hopefully you know by now, but if you don't know, you know, check into it, Black's Law Dictionary, check out those definitions. All right, hopefully you enjoyed those videos to help drive my point home. So it was recently expressed to the world that I guess you could say the transatlantic slave trade and chattel slavery is the most heinous crime, the gravest crime against humanity. All right, it was voted on, and most countries agreed. I say most countries because some countries did not vote; they abstained from the vote. You know, mostly European nations who profited off of colonization, imperialism, plundering resources from, you know, African nations, other indigenous nations, the Americas, the Caribbean, you know, all these different areas. So some nations didn't vote, a lot of nations did vote, and some nations completely voted against it. You know, it was 3 nations that voted against it: the United States, of course, Israel, of course, Argentina, of course. I believe I spoke on this before. I told you how they're connected: Argentina, Israel, and of course the US. You can go all the way back to the history of World War II. After those Nazis were taken there, they were taken from Nazi Germany and they were brought over here to the US and to, you know, to work on the pharmaceutical industries, mind control, a lot of different technological advancements that they were using with their weaponry. Those scientists were brought over here and those studies continued, right? They also had a escape rat hole for Nazis to escape unscathed and make it to Argentina to actually live out the rest of their lives, you know, from all the way back in the 1940s all the way to now, right? There was even rumors of, you know, Hitler living out all his days and now having a family, having grandchildren, all that down there in Argentina. You can check out this information on your own, you know, to verify it. But hey, the information's out there. But it's kind of wild that, you know, these people don't want to pay reparations, even though it will make the world economy move that much better. You know, some people really only feel good about themselves when they're putting someone else down, you know. So, you know, just keep that in mind when it comes to, you know, these geopolitical stances when it comes to, you know, paying reparations or who owes who, what nations owes what. I love the fact that some artifacts were returned back to Africa from some of the museums over there in like over there in the UK, the United Kingdom, and stuff like that. Yeah, just to move along. So, you know, hopefully everything continues to move in an upward fashion when it comes to, you know, reparations for the transatlantic slave trade, American chattel slavery, and, you know, repairing these nations, especially Haiti. You know, what happened between Haiti and France actually winning their independence and actually fast tracking and starting the whole revolution of anti-slavery here in the Western Hemisphere and spreading to, you know, Brazil and a whole bunch of other free nations, Mexico, and then of course, you know, to America, I mean the United States. Let's see, there was talk about Social Security, all right, Social Security being drained. So if our tax dollars, you know, a lot of people are talking about taxes, people are talking about Social Security, like where is the money going? If if we can't get reparations, all right, if you as taxpayers don't want to pay reparations, that will actually help the country. It will actually stimulate the entire society of America, of the United States. It would actually stimulate the economy, right? You know, and it will also stimulate other nations, because honestly, if reparations were paid to the descendants of American chattel slavery, a lot of us would leave America, fam. A lot of us would probably go to Jamaica, maybe try to build up Haiti, and that's what I feel. That's what they don't want us to do. They don't want us to leave. They don't want us to have autonomy. They don't want us to actually try to build up other nations and other neighboring melanated nations, right? Especially with the American ingenuity, with all the inventions, all the innovations that our ancestors have done, our elders have done, right? Revolutionize the entire planet. You know, there's not a single country that doesn't have an invention that was created here by the descendants of chattel slavery, the indigenous people of America, the Moors of America. There's not a single country in the world that doesn't have an invention that benefited from our ancestors' ingenuity. Not a single country. All right. The tax dollars, right? Where are the tax dollars going? We're all paying Social Security, but this money's not coming to us. It's being sent off to foreign nations, and people are not liking it. They say the Social Security might be drained by like 2030. There's not going to be any more Social Security funds. They're trying to figure out what's going on, making people work longer. Retirement is going to take that much longer. You can't retire as young as 65, not anymore. But besides that, people are like, why are we even paying taxes? If the taxes aren't going to what they're supposed to be going to, state and federal, if that money is just disappearing. People are saying how the Pentagon has failed its audits. No one can account for where these funds are going, right? The Pentagon has failed like the last 4 audits at least, and there's billions of dollars missing. Always billions of dollars missing. And all it would take is a few billion to end homelessness in the United States. All it would take is a few billion to end food insecurities here in the United States. All it would take is like $2 billion for everybody to go to school and have access to free education. Come on, all it would take is a few billion for everybody to have free health care. Come on now. But yet we're just spending all that on this war machine. A lot of people are unhappy with it, fam. A lot of people are unhappy with it. Also, just talking about how banks have been discriminating, all right? The entire banking system, especially against the Moors of America. Banks are being sued for not giving out proper loans, right? Banks are being sued, like Wells Fargo, JP Morgan Chase. I know they had connections with those X-Files, those Epps-Files, right? Especially JP Morgan Chase, the money is still moving. Those accounts are still active for Epstein. So you really can't trust these banking institutions, man. Anything that's like too big to fail, you know, we already know who's behind these international monetary systems, who's really controlling the funds. And they don't give access to most melanated people, for real. Like, when it comes to housing, there was a whole discrepancy about melanated people selling their houses. Moors in America selling their houses and getting appraisals that were way lower than the property value, all right? All this has been documented. They will get a stand-in, they'll get a neighbor, they'll get a friend to come in, they'll take off all the family photos off the wall, take out anything that indicates that a so-called black person, an African-American person, however way you want to phrase it, lives there. They'll take off any indication, and then the property value, the appraisal goes up by over 100,000 or something like that. So, you know, all this stuff has been documented for a few years now, and people are really starting to notice, and a lot of things are starting to shake. People are bonding together, people are rallying together, and they're fighting back. They're not sitting down, they're not taking it lightly. There's been a lot of talk about deed fraud, especially in the New York area. There's been talk about deed fraud down in like Georgia. So it seems to be happening a lot on the East Coast. I'm sure it's also happening on the West Coast. Properties are just getting snatched up through paperwork, through illicit, illegal paperwork. And a lot of these banks are in on it, that they're getting kickbacks. Some city officials are getting kickbacks. Even the courts are getting kickbacks from these shell corporations, these shell companies that just seem to be underhandedly doing deed fraud and stealing properties from families who have had those properties in their bloodline for like for a few generations now, 70 plus years, 60 plus years. The plot is just getting thicker. I'm telling you. People were saying that this same exact thing was happening in Gaza when the occupation was going on over there in Gaza before they completely flattened it and destroyed the entire cityscape. It really seems to be a influx, a invasion, a brand new colonization is happening now, and it's happening in the New York area, the New Jersey area, Georgia, Atlanta area. It's happening on the West Coast, I believe, California area. It's happening all over the country, right? And it's not just these, it's not just these foreigners coming here taking it. It's also foreign corporations that are buying a lot of land. It's not just private houses. It's also farmland. They're buying up a lot of the farmland over here from families who's had that land in their family for generations. And it doesn't really seem to be good, fam. So historically, our people haven't been trusting banks for a real long time. You know that old trope about grandma and grandpa got money stashed underneath the mattress? That's honestly because when the freedmen banks were around, the freedmen banks, those were some of the first banks melanated people were allowed to have. The indigenous people of America were allowed to have. The Moors. The money was in the bank. They were saving up their entire life savings, putting it into these banking systems, and the money was stolen. The money disappeared. The money was mishandled. They pretty much robbed our indigenous ancestors, the elders. They robbed them of their entire life's work. And our people stopped trusting banks after that. Of course, you know how the credit system was created in order to spite us, and slight us in all kinds of ways. But this stuff is historical. There's no trust in these banking systems, the way they've been showing their hand recently, how we have evidence. It goes back historically, fam. There's families, a lot of our people are still owed that 40 acres and a mule. A lot of our people are still owed the money that's from the freedmen banks, fam. That money was never repaid. Most of that money was never repaid. It was just taken by the government. And there's still records that people can find. If you can track your genealogy, figure out if some of your family had money in those banks, and our people are owed those finances, fam. Like, share, subscribe to my channel. Let me know how I'm doing down below. I know this one might be a little bit lengthy, but hey, I just had to put this information out there. You know, I'm always going to keep swinging the sword, putting this righteous information out there, fighting the good fight. Like, share, subscribe. This is your brother Zach Bay, and I want to end this with one more quick outro. All right, if you see a penny on the ground or 1 cent, that's called, pick it up. Pennies, the 1 cent, they were made out of copper. They were made to hold value. There's a reason why the elders and the ancestors used to have things called penny banks. All right, all children were start off with a penny bank because pennies were made to hold that value. And now, if you see a penny on the ground, it's not worth just 1 cent. You know, it's worth maybe about 4 cents, a little over 4 cents. So that's almost a nickel that you're walking by. You know, grab those things, pick them up. Hey, like, share, subscribe. Let me know how I'm doing down below. Share my content. Peace.
In 1865, just months after the Civil War ended, Congress chartered the Freedmen's Bank. Millions of formerly enslaved people had never been allowed to legally own property, to accumulate savings, or use financial institutions. The bank was meant to be a safe place to store wages and begin building wealth. Branches opened across the South in cities like Richmond, Charleston, New Orleans, Memphis, and Houston. By the early 1870s, there were more than 70,000 Black depositors, 37 branches across the country, and roughly 3 million deposited, more than 70 million in today's dollars. For many families, this represented their entire life savings. Even though the bank was created to serve formerly enslaved people, it was controlled almost entirely by white trustees and financiers who were considered experts in finance. That structure created a dangerous imbalance. Black depositors trusted the institution. White managers controlled the money. Originally, the bank's charter required deposits to be invested in safe government securities. But in 1870, Congress quietly amended the charter and allowed the bank to make speculative investments. Instead of protecting deposits, trustees began investing heavily into railroad speculation, making risky real estate loans, lending money to political insiders, and funneling money into ventures connected to themselves. In 1874, Frederick Douglass was asked to become president of the bank in an attempt to restore confidence. When he reviewed the books, he quickly realized the institution was already collapsing. The bank failed later that year. More than 60,000 Black depositors lost their savings and about 3 million disappeared. Tens of millions in today's money. For many newly freed families, that represented years of labor after emancipation. That money could have gone toward land, businesses, education for children, and generational stability. Many depositors believed the bank was backed by the federal government, but technically it was a private institution with a congressional charter, not a government bank. When it collapsed, the government was not legally required to repay depositors. Congress eventually authorized partial repayments years later, but many families recovered only pennies on the dollar. This was the first generation of Black Americans attempting to build wealth after slavery. Instead of layering the foundation for economic stability, the disaster wiped out much of that early capital. Historians often point to the Freedmen's Bank collapse as one of the earliest blows to Black wealth accumulation after emancipation. It also contributed to a deep skepticism about banks that lasted for generations. For many families, the lesson was simple. The system could take everything you have. Imagine saving money for the first time in your life. Imagine believing the institution holding it was safe. And then one day, it was just gone.
What's your suggestion? That's your question. Okay, you talking to me, not a dumb nigger or a pork chop eater, don't know the truth. I'm free now. I woke up. Now, what are you going to tell me now? I done gave you my solution, some land of my own, doing something for myself like you, England, and America do. Now, I know you're not against the Black man. I know you're not against me having my land, are you? I know you English the ruled and enslaved forever for a long time. But do you still today don't want me to have my own country and build for myself and govern myself? Would you think that's bad if we thought like that? What's your solution to my problem? 1974, you all just, some white man just flew from New York to England in an hour, less than 2 hours. You all are so progressive. You're walking around on other planets. Now, today, I'm intelligent too now. What's your suggestion? What should be my movement? Integrate?
Yeah, equal rights in a mixed society.
In this society, where you still own the government, you still own the train station, the railroad plant, the electric plant, these television cameras, you still make all the food, you control everything, and I'm like a leech on a dog's back. All I can do is just wait for you. I can't do nothing for myself. Integrating in your society don't mean I'm doing nothing for myself. You doing it all. I want to do something for myself. I'm tired of depending on you. You might get broke one day. Your stores might close. Your gas pumps might cut off again. I'm relying on you now. Can I have my own land and country?
Well, you've got your own freedom here. For instance, I know you're luckier than many black people in America, but you're your own boss.
I'm speaking for my nation. See,
I know, I appreciate that.
If I was representing just me, I wouldn't be talking like this, because I got it made. I'm talking for my brothers who's out there.
But I just don't see how, Mohammed, I don't see how you can slice up America into bits and get all the whites in one area and all the blacks in another.
Then we leave then. We leave.
But they'd miss you.
I know it.
What?